What's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX coming to you from SRL once again, and today we are doing round 4 of the Intercontinental GT3 Championship, running a 1-hour sprint race here at the Nürburgring Grand Prix layout. And you guys will have to bear with me just a little bit. I don't generally do commentary on Project Cars 2, so I'm not real familiar with the controls and for the streaming, but we've got 13 cars on track. We will try and run down the driver lineup as I try to there we go. I think I'm starting to get the hang of it. Looks like we've got some cars out on track. We'll pick up Dion Stahl in the McLaren. He's out on track. Rob Smalls in the Porsche. Sam Brandt in the Lamborghini. Jensen Randall, your championship points leader, in the Mercedes-AMG. Rennie Vanderstapp's also in the McLaren. Fly High, Jeremy Pope is going to be in the other Lamborghini. Nope, that's not Jeremy. Who is that? Oh, that's Epic the Animal. That's newcomer Logan Arand in the Lamborghini. Got ourselves another American. Jim Sanitas is in the Ferrari, which is what I was supposed to be driving today, but unfortunately, due to commentary issues, I'm not racing. Cameron Weston Edwards in the Audi. And it looks like we've got Nick Van Gelder also in the Audi. Max Mulder also rocking an Audi. And we pick up Dion Stahl again. We've got Jeremy Pope is still in the garage. He's going to be rocking the Porsche along with Rob Small. And Sandro Dulius, I believe he is driving the Acura GT3. So that's your driver lineup for today's race. 13 drivers on track. And just to give everybody a quick rundown of what's going on in the championship, Jensen Randall is your championship points leader, not only in F1, but here in the GT3 Challenge as well. 26 points to his credit, but nipping at his heels is Sandro Dulius, second in points. We're going to pick up Dion Stahl as he comes across the line to start a hot lap. Cameron Weston Edwards sitting in his usual spot in the championship point standings in third. 17 points to his credit, but nipping at his heels is Jeremy Pope and Dion Stahl. 15 points to their credit. Foons Van Houten is sixth, but he is no longer with us for the remainder of the season. Sam Brandt's only got 8 points to his credit in seventh. Max Mulder is is eighth with 5 points. Nick, unfortunately, only has 2 points to his credit. And me and Jim Sanitas are tied for 10th. With 1 point apiece. Looks like Jim will have the opportunity to overtake me today as we ride along with Dion Stahl. And see if we can jump on board here. There we go. Starting to learn the controls, guys. We're going to ride on board with Dion Stahl up through the Schumacher S's here at the Grand Prix layout. Oh, and he's got a big twitch. Goes off track. He's lost the back end. And Dion Stahl's into the wall. And he's automatically going back to the pits. So we'll pick up Jeremy Pope here. And Jeremy Pope coming through the Schumacher S's. This is where Dion just lost the car. So Jeremy coming out of the corner now, going down the back straightaway and up towards the chicane. Be interesting to see what kind of times are set. I actually practiced for this race. I actually had a halfway decent setup for this race. We want to see what my best lap time would be compared to some of these other guys. Jeremy heading through the chicane now. Not sure if he's on a hot lap or not. So we're going to run a quick 10-minute qualifying session followed by an hour race. Oh, and Jeremy invalidates his lap time. Jensen Randall goes to the top of the charts. Nothing there. Nothing new there. 158.332. Cameron Weston Edwards comes across 159.260. So that kind of makes me happy for what it's worth. My best time in practice was a 158.7, so really I'd have been second quickest, and that's unheard of for me. Damn. It is what it is. Nick goes second quickest now, 159.062 as he goes a tenth quicker. A couple tenths quicker than Cameron Weston Edwards. Max Mulder, 159.483. Epic the Animal, Logan Arund, 159.980. And you've got Rennie Vanderstapp in the McLaren. He's gone 202. That's good enough for sixth. Who is CPI? That's Alexi. And he's lost the back end in the Renault, and he's into the wall. We'll pick up Sam Brandt, 205. He's eighth quickest so far, and he's going to run through the dirt at the Schumacher S's. Jim Sanitas, good enough for ninth quickest. So far, Jeremy Pope has yet to set a time, and it looks like he's invalidated his time. I don't know if that's left over from last time or this lap. Props to Jeremy, who had that amazing race back at round one, the 2.4 hours of Daytona. Ran in the wet, ran a masterclass race that time. Looks like Dion. And Dion still got that front end damage. Not sure if that's I'm not sure if that's cosmetic or if that's actually hurting him. We'll pick up Rob Small. Rob's in the other Porsche with the alternate paint scheme on it. Actually, I guess they're both running the same scheme. He runs that a little wide. And Jensen Randall sets a new fastest lap with a 157.901, so I think we can see where this is going. Nick Van Gelder dives into the pits. And Rob Small does set a time, 2:05.159, good enough for ninth quickest. We'll pick up Sandro Dulia. Sandro's yet to set a time. Rocking the number 93 Michael Shank Racing Acura GT3. Ooh, we're hitting the rev limiter heading down there. He didn't want to shift up to that extra gear. Do the Schumacher S's has to blip the throttle just a little bit to keep it steady and keep her straight. Hits the rev limiter again. Comes out of the right-hander, down the back straightaway through this dog leg kink here, and up towards the chicane. This is where Schumacher made his pass on Jean Alesi a long time ago when Alesi was so close to winning his first Formula One Grand Prix. Schumacher made a dive bomb into there and went on to take the win. Alesi would finish second on that Grand Prix. Sandro coming out of the last corner now. Sandro Julius, 158.058. He's a tenth off of Jensen Randall, so the battle for the championship is on. Good qualifying effort by Sandro Julius. And 40 seconds left to play in the session, so hot laps will count. See if anybody's on a flyer. Jensen rocking the Mercedes just as he does in the Formula One Championship. Looks like he's got some nose damage. It looks like he's been off and has shortened that car by about 1.5 feet. He's flattened the nose on it. I'm not sure if that's, again, I don't know if that's merely cosmetic or if we actually have the damage on, if that's going to affect him aerodynamically. Timing's going to count down 3, 2, and 1. Time is up. So as I said, flying laps will count. Jensen Randall came across with enough time to start a flying lap. Sandro Dulis was on enough time. Looks like Max Mulder is going to be locked in at the 1:58.219. Good qualifying effort by him as he jumps himself into third. Nick Van Gelder. Whoa, hard on the brakes, down into the Yui. Ooh, and Nick running a little wide there through the Schumacher S, is trying to keep that power down. And Nick is on a flyer. Runs a little wide coming out of there. Hard on the brakes. You can hear the tires squealing. Nick is so hard on his tires no matter what he's driving, whether it be this or Formula One. Looks like Sam Brandt has invalidated his lap time, so his last-ditch effort won't matter. He'll be locked in at the 2:01.789. Nick up into the chicane. He's hard on the brakes. He's a little wide. Tries to get the power back down. And Logan Arond has gone 1:58.735. That's good enough for fourth quickest. Here comes Nick out of the final corner down the front straightaway. And it doesn't look like he's going to improve his time. We'll pick up Rennie van der Stapp. Rennie coming out of the last corner now. And across the line, and he is going to be locked in 2:00.695. Jim Sanitas, he is slow heading into turn one. He just finished his lap, 2:01.439, good enough for ninth. And it looks like that is going to do it. And we've got through the pit lane, that is Reese March on the live chat. Reese apologizing to me. He was supposed to do commentary today so I could race. So here's your starting lineup. Jensen Randall. Well, guess we won't see the starting lineup. Is that right? Jensen Randall, Max Mulder, Sandro Dulis. I think those times got jacked up a little bit. We'll wait for the game to reset here. But yes, Reese was supposed to commentate. Apparently he got held up doing a couple other things. We knew he had a driving lesson today, so there was always a bit of whether he would make it or not. So I just want to say my fastest lap in practice was a 1:58.7. I said I would have been top 5, and I would have been top 5. It's all right. I'll get over it. Life goes on. I had such a terrible outing at Spa. I really wanted to make up for it, and I actually had a halfway decent setup for the Nürburgring, so we'll see if I can make it back to do another race later this year. We'll be racing the GT3 Challenge again next week. I won't be able to make that one due to a scheduling conflict with work, so I won't be in that race, but we'll be running GT3 again next week. So as we wait for the game to do something... And I feel like I'm missing something here. Like the time is clocking. So it's an hour race. The time is counting away, 58:35, 58:34. Yet I don't have anything except stationary cars. This is possibly a problem. And are we having a problem with the lobby? Okay, here we go. There we go. No, we're not having a problem with the lobby. Okay. Rolling start. Sorry for the confusion. And green, green, green. Sandro Dulis has got the inside line. Great start by Jensen Randall, but here comes the Acura Sandro. Max Mulder was to the inside. Sandro's all the way to the inside, making it 3 wide heading into the corner. Sandro's going to get out in front of Jensen Randall. Randall's going to make contact with, was that Nick Van Gelder at that point in the number 1. And we've got a lot of shuffling going on in the back. Here's Logan Arond, newcomer, making his SRL debut here in the GT3 race. He will be racing in Formula One as well for Haas. That's Reese March's new teammate, and now it's side by side at the front, and Jensen Randall makes contact with Sandro. Sandro's got the inside line. Jensen's now going to have the inside line going into the next corner. Sandro's not going to be able to hang with him. And Jensen Randall back out in front, and we've got some side-by-side action going on in the back here. You got one of the Lamborghinis, looks like that was Sam Brandt running real wide coming out of that corner. We've got Dion Stahl side-by-side with Nick Van Gelder. McLaren versus Audi. And up into the Schumacher S's. Meanwhile, Sandro trying to hang tough and keep with Jensen Randall. These two are starting to pull away. Dion runs through the dirt along with Nick. Nick's now got a good run heading up through the corner, but Dion is going to have the inside line. And around the outside goes Nick. He's going to make the pass. Here comes Cameron Weston Edwards now. He's all over the back of Dion Stahl as well. Dion trying to keep with Nick. And Logan Arand is under threat from Max Mulder. And look at the run Dion has on Nick. The slipstream really coming into play now. And Cameron goes to the inside. And there's contact, I think. Or maybe just Dion maybe just outbraked himself. And now we've got Rennie in the back with Max. Oh, and Logan almost makes contact with Rennie Vanderstapp. And look at this, Max Mulder trying to use the slipstream. Max is going to dive to the inside. Logan trying to hang tough. But Max is going to get the better of him going into turn 1. Logan's got the more preferred line heading into turn 2 and 3. Meanwhile, Cameron's still trying to find a way around Nick Van Gelder. And while all this is happening in the back, Sandro's lost touch with Jensen Randall. Jensen is out in front. He's now got a 2-second gap over Sandro Dulius. Nick has got, and Nick runs wide in the corner, opens the door for Cameron Harrison Edwards, and Cameron's going to get through. And he's got out in front, but here comes Nick back on the inside of the Schumacher S's. And Cam is going to make that pass stick for now. A mistake there by Nick Van Gelder heading down into the hairpin. Opened the door for Cameron. Cameron makes the move. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Just trying to get a feel for how things work around here. And we're going to keep that up. So Nick Van Gelder losing out to Cameron Weston Edwards. Looks like we've got a heck of a battle going on back here. The 3-car battle. Rennie Vanderstapp, Logan Arand, and Max Mulder. This is 6th, 7th, and 8th, and Logan trying to make a move on Rennie. He's going to get to the inside. Rennie's going to maybe try the crossover move. Doesn't get the power down, and here comes Max now. Max going to try and make a move. And in the midst of all this, here comes Jim Sanitas in the Ferrari. Wants to be a part of this battle, but Jim's lost the back end of the car. Trying to get that power down. Stays out of harm's way. Spins it back around, but that's going to cost him a huge number of positions. And Sanitas all the way to the back of the field. And look at this. Logan has gotten out in front of Rennie Vanderstapp and is now starting to pull away, and he wants to become a part of this 2-car battle. Now this is the battle for 4th. Nick Van Gelder, Dion Stahl. Meanwhile, Cameron Weston Edwards is closing in on Sandro Dulius, and it is ironic that these guys often find themselves together on track, not just here, but in the SRL F1 League. As they like to put it, it is on-track rivals, off-track friends. And Sandro losing ground, not just to Jensen Randall, but now losing ground to Cameron Weston Edwards. Edwards is all over the back of him. Meanwhile, Nick Van Gelder has got Dion Stahl breathing down his neck, and Logan wants to be a part of this battle as well. Rennie's starting to come back into the fold on Logan. Logan's lost touch with this battle here just a little bit. Meanwhile, Cameron Weston Edwards would hop on board with him down the front straightaway, making ground on Sandro Dulius. Jensen Randall's run the fastest lap of the race, 1:57.460. Sam Brandt running in the 8th position with Rennie Vanderstapp. And you see these little marks up here. Looks like some of these guys are maybe getting some penalties. Look at this, Cameron all over the back of Sandro, keeping that line tight. He's going to try the crossover move. He's got a good run coming out of that corner. He's almost making contact. Use the chase cam as they go side by side, and Sandro hangs tough on the inside. Cameron wants to try and get it back. Fun playing around with the camera angles. Cameron looking to the inside. Not going to make it happen there. So Sandro feeling the pressure from Cameron Weston Edwards. Cam, your last year's SRL Indy 500 champion here in Project Cars 2. Through the Schumacher S's. There you see Nick coming into the fold there. So Nick Van Gelder, he's got Dion Stahl starting to close in, and he's bringing Logan around with him. So Logan trying to hang tough with these guys in a good mid-pack battle, making his SRL debut. And again, he will be racing for Team Haas in the F1 series. He's going to be filling in for the rest of the season. Should be able to make most of the races, and haven't gotten confirmation yet, but there's high hopes that he'll make a full season effort next year in SRL and fight for the championship. Meanwhile, back to the battle for second. Once again, Cameron Weston Edwards gets a good run coming out of that corner. Using the slipstream down the front straightaway. Looks like Sandro's trying to break it up just a little bit. Man, look how hard. Oh, and they make contact. And Cameron went way deep on the brakes on that one. I'm sorry I didn't get a great angle of the pass, but they are side by side again. It looks like Sandro trying to get that spot back. And while these two have been battling it out, the 3-car battle behind them, Dion Stahl, Nick Van Gelder, and Logan Aron starting to close in. Meanwhile, can Sandro get that spot back from Cameron Weston Edwards? Bit of an aggressive pass, but that is to be expected come from Cameron. And it looks like Cameron's got some really good pace in his car. He's started to pull away now from Sandro, and he's closing the gap a little bit to Jensen. So Jensen right now got about a 2.4 second lead over the field. Cameron Weston Edwards running in second, trying to hunt him down. Sandro Dulius lost out on that second spot. And it looks like Logan may have had an issue. What happened to him? Logan has had an issue. He's gone off. He's lost a huge number of positions. He was running in sixth, closing in on that battle for fourth with Dion Stahl and Nick Van Gelder. Looks like he's had an off, possibly at the Schumacher S's. And he is now down into ninth, so he'll be kicking himself in the butt for that one. He is in the back fighting it out with the Daytona 2.4 hour winner, Jeremy Pope, running in 10th. Meanwhile, we've got Jim Sanitas running by his lonesome. He's managed to pick up a position, running back up into the 12th position after his spin. Rob Small looks like he may have had an issue at some point, down into the 13th spot. And Jensen Randall, he's actually lost a little bit of ground. It's now under 2 seconds to him from Cameron. And Cameron, I tell you, Cameron is going deep on these brakes. He is going to be wearing out them binders. He's gotten the gap as low as 1.5 seconds to Jensen Randall. Jensen's run a fairly smooth race. He has run the fastest lap of this race at a 1:57.460. Hasn't been able to do any better than that. And he's losing ground under about 1.5 seconds back. Sandro's still kind of hanging tough there, 1.5 seconds back from that. And then you've got Dion and Nick who continue to battle each other. Dion out in front of Nick Van Gelder for the 4th spot. Looked like Nick trying to get to him under braking. Meanwhile, we've got a battle for the lead now. Cameron Weston Edwards got down to a second. Looks like he's got some good long run pace in this car. So many different makes and models in this series, and it's good to see. I mean, we've got varying tire strategies. We're going to have varying fuel strategies because some cars are going to burn more fuel than others. It's to my understanding the Audi doesn't do great on fuel mileage. The Merc probably doesn't do great on tires because it's a bit heavier than most of the other cars in the field. The Acura seems to be the most balanced car of the ones that are available. So Dion Stahl's now separated himself from Nick Van Gelder for the 4th spot by about half a second now. So he's got a little bit of breathing room. Meanwhile, Cameron Weston Edwards is now under a second to Jensen Randall. And just to show you how close it is, Jensen Randall's fastest lap was the 1:57.460. Cameron Weston Edwards' fastest lap was a 1:59.479. And Cameron is gaining. You can see Jensen's last lap was 2 minutes flat. Cameron went 1:59.621, 0.4 of a second quicker, runs a little wide coming out of that corner, going real deep on these brakes, but he is there. He's within half a second out of a striking distance for Cameron Weston Edwards. We saw what he did to Sandro Dulius to take that position from him. Whoa, and Jensen Randall loses the back end of the car, and Cameron Weston Edwards is out in front, and Jensen, trying to get that power down, felt the pressure from Cameron, loses a couple of spots, and here comes Dion Stahl, and Dion's going to get to the inside of Jensen Randall. Randall's going to try and hang tough on the outside. Oh, and Dion just can't make it work heading through those corners. He's going to try a crossover move. Jensen's got the power back down. It looks like Jensen's back up to pace. Dion going to try and go to the inside, which is going to become the outside. Can he do the crossover move? No, Jensen runs a good tight line through there. He's not going to give Dion the opportunity. And a rare mistake by Jensen Randall. He felt the pressure from Cameron Weston Edwards. And Cameron, I love it. I love seeing Cameron out in front. I love the fact that he was able to force Jensen into a mistake. That is classic Cameron at best. We've talked about it in past races. with Sam Brand in the commentary booth. It's always an eerie feeling when you see Cameron in your mirrors. He is such an aggressive driver, but he is not an unfair driver. His aggressiveness doesn't come from any type of malice. It is just hard driving. He is up on the wheel, and Cameron wants to beat you. It doesn't matter if it is for first, second, third, 11th. He wants to beat the car in front of him, and that is what he has done right now. Sandro Dulius up into second, and this is good for Sandro. This is championship points implications here, because Sandro is second in points behind Jensen Randall, and only by 4 points, I believe. I think Jensen's got 26 to his credit. Sandro's got 22, and Cam out in front, he's actually third in points. So this is all for the championship points battle right here. And I know Dion would love to try and get in front of Jensen and pick up a podium finish. Meanwhile, we're going to pick up Jeremy Pope, running back in 10th. He's got a red mark next to his number. I don't know if that means he's got a penalty, or not real familiar with the ins and outs of this game. I just know how to race on it, so. But Jeremy running in 10th, his teammate running in 12th. Max Mulder has fallen back into the 13th spot. Max ran a great snowball derby. If anybody's gone back to watch that, we ran the snowball derby in January. The rally lights, the little rally cars in blizzard conditions on a snow-covered track, and Max won that. Did an awesome job in the final round to just destroy the competition. But he has fallen back into 13th, unfortunately. Meanwhile, it looks like Logan has gotten his bearings and started moving back towards the front of this field. He was running in 6th a number of laps ago, had an off, I believe, at the Schumacher S's, fell all the way back to 9th. And he is now back up into the 7th spot. Meanwhile, Cameron Weston Edwards is out in front to the tune of 3 seconds over Sandro Dulius. And Jensen Randall has fallen back to 4th. I must have missed that. Dion Stahl does pick up that 3rd position, and now Jensen Randall in threat from Nick Van Gelder for 4th. So Jensen looks like he might be struggling with the tire grip. Not sure if he started on the hard tires and they just haven't come to life yet, or if he's on the softs and they're starting to wear out. We do know the Mercedes is a bit of a heavier car, and it's a little bit harder on tires. That being said, we know Nick's driving style is very aggressive on the throttle, so Nick's tires could be succumbing to the same thing as we see him try and turn in here at the 2-3 complex. Meanwhile, Logan Arond, the American making his SRL debut, is starting to close in on Rennie van der Staap for the 6th position. You see the gap between the two cars there. Rennie rocking the McLaren, but he's got that Lamborghini lurking in his mirrors, and these two really haven't been able to separate themselves. Aside from Logan having his off earlier in the race, these guys have been around each other for most of the race. And it does appear that it's... ooh, and a big slide heading into that corner by Rennie van der Staap. Looks like the front end started to lock up on him, and it looks like the fog is maybe rolling in, getting a little overcast here at the Nürburgring. Not sure if there's any weather in the area, but it's definitely getting overcast. Meanwhile, Nick is falling off pace, and Jensen Randall, it looks like he's regrouped a little bit, and he has got a good run on Dion Stahl through the back kink straightaway. And he's going to try and dive to the inside here at the chicane, and it looks like he's going to try and retake that position. And Jensen Randall is back up into 3rd. So a bit of a yo-yo day for him. He's gone up and down, and he's back into 3rd. Dion not that far behind. He could strike back. Meanwhile, Sandro Dulius is running in the 2nd spot. He is 2 seconds behind Cameron Weston Edwards, actually 2.5 seconds behind. Battle for the lead, so Sandro has essentially been in 2nd this whole race. He was 2nd to Jensen Randall. When Jensen had his spin, Sandro had already fallen back to third from Cameron Weston Edwards. So as soon as Cameron took the lead, I should say, from Jensen after his spin, Sandro finds himself back in second. So Sandro's run the most laps of anybody in second place this race. An odd statistic to throw out there. Meanwhile, Logan Arand has got the gap down to Rennie Vanderstapp to just under a second. And he is ready to strike. You can hear the growl of that McLaren V8. And again, looks like Rennie is struggling with her front end grip. And look at this to the inside. Logan got a good run through that corner. And Logan's car is fighting for grip on the front end through the Schumacher S's. Logan trying to hang tough, get a good run coming out of there. Looks like he thought about taking that inside line. Looks like he'll tuck back in. And look at this. Logan trying real hard. He's going to get a good run coming out of there. He'll have the slipstream coming down the back straightaway through the kink. And here we go. Can he make a move? He thought about it, and he's going to back off a little bit. Logan running a smart race right now. Doesn't want to have any issues. 37 minutes left to play in this race. Nobody's made a pit stop yet. And Logan trying to play a smart game here. Wants to avoid any contact with anybody. He's going to have the slipstream coming down the front straightaway. I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move. And gets a good run coming out of there. Logan all over the back of this McLaren, and Rennie runs wide coming out of that corner, and it looks like Logan is going to be able to make the pass on Rennie Vanderstapp for 6th. That was a good battle to watch. And Logan, epic the animal, up into 6th. Meanwhile, Dion Stahl finds himself under threat from Nick Van Gelder once again. And it's getting harder and harder to see these cars as the fog is rolled in off of the hills here in Germany. And Nick, late braking into that corner, lost a bunch of car lengths there. Up through the Schumacher S's. Good run by Nick through there. Dion's going to try and take the defensive line. He's not going to let Nick have the inside line. Nick's going to try and go to the outside. Runs a little wide there, but he's got the more preferred line hanging in the next corner, and they almost make contact. And you can't even see Dion's car because it's blending in with the cloud cover. But Nick makes the move. Dion going to try and come back to the inside here at the chicane. And Dion's going to get that spot back, but he runs a little wide coming out of there. And again, side by side, Nick almost makes contact with them. Good driving by these two guys here. Oh, and Dion hard on the brakes. Front end washed out just a little bit. Nick trying to find a way around him. Got a good run coming out of there. And he gets to the inside. He thought about it, but oh, he brakes and slocks up the right front. And he's all over the tailgate of Dion's McLaren. This is the battle for 4th. This is a great battle to be watching as we rotate through the onboard cameras. It's kind of a neat feature. And Nick not able to capitalize on the run that he had on Dion. Dion able to gap him just a little bit. Meanwhile, back at the front, Cameron Weston Edwards losing a little bit of ground to Sandro Dolia. Sandro's got that gap cut down to about 1.5 seconds. So there's a battle for the lead heating up. Jensen Randall still lurking in the background there in the Mercedes, and you see that's I believe that's Max Mulder. That's a lap car of Max Mulder onto the front straightaway. So not sure if maybe Cameron got held up a little bit and that allowed Sandro. But the cloud covers really come in. You can't really see these cars. It'd be great if they turned on their headlights. Hint, hint. See if anybody's actually watching the stream turns on their lights, but cloud cover coming in. I mean, rain possibly in the area, low cloud cover. Could just be fog for right now. The track's definitely going to cool down, so that's going to help the grip of the tires just a little bit. There we go. Sandro's got his headlights on. He heard me. Looks like Cameron's got his headlights on. Meanwhile, Dion and Nick still battling it out for the 4th position. Let's see if we can pick up Logan, see where Logan's at in relation to that battle. He is not that far behind the battle for 4th, and that's really where he was long time ago. Oh, thank God the headlights are on now because the cloud cover is getting so bad. The fog is so thick on some of these shots, you can't even see the cars. And that's all you see is 2 white dots chasing each other. Through the Schumacher S's. Now, I haven't had any reports of rain. The weather, though, has rolled in for sure. Oh, that's good lemonade. Wow, look how bad the fog is coming down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, it looks like Sandro's lost touch with Cameron Weston Edwards just a little bit. He had that gap down to 1.5 seconds. Cameron's been able to pull it back out to almost 3 seconds. And then almost 3 seconds behind him, you've got Jensen Randall. And then 6 seconds behind that, you've got Dion Stahl trying to hold off Nick Van Gelder. These are the 4 headlights running together with each other. And that is, I wonder what it's like. Let me see if I can get a cockpit view. This is the cockpit view looking out the cockpit of Nick Van Gelder. See what it's like trying to, as long as you're close to the car in front, you can see it. You can see the fog though. It's definitely going to make seeing some of the brake markers a little difficult. So obviously, the lower to the ground you are, not as bad the fog, but you do some of these trackside views, you can hardly see what's going on. So we're going to try and stick with some of these onboard views. Give everybody a little bit better look at what's going on. And Cameron has pulled his gap out over Sandro to 3 seconds. Nick's still trying to find a way around Dion Stahl for 4th. Meanwhile, Logan will pop on board with Logan Aron to give you kind of a idea how far back behind he is. So you see Nick is just now heading through the kink on the back straightaway. Logan is just now getting onto the back straightaway, so gaining ground slowly but surely. 30 minutes left to play in the session. Excuse me. Meanwhile, we haven't talked a lot about the guys in the back. Rennie Vanderstapp lost that 7th spot. Or lost the 6th spot to Logan. He's running in 7th. Sam Brandt is running in 8th. But behind him is Jeremy Pope. Jeremy closing in on this battle for 8th now. And Jeremy, if Jeremy's car is set up anything like it was for Daytona, then Jeremy is going to be praying for rain, because if the rain hits, Jeremy is going to be in a class all by himself. He's closing in on Sam Brandt for 9th, so this battle's starting to heat up. And we're going to pick up Alexi. Alexi's coming out of the chicane now and onto the front straightaway. We haven't talked a whole lot about him, but he has worked his way into the top 10. Meanwhile, Rob Small running through the Schumacher S's. Looks like he's had a bit of an issue trying to get this car set up for today's race. And Jim Sanitas is all over the back of him. It looks like Sanitas has got some damage on the front end of that Ferrari. And Rob's going to run wide coming out of that corner. Oh, and you can't even hardly see what's going on. We'll pick up the chase cam. Sanitas with a good run coming out of there. Down the back straightaway. Ooh. Sanitas with a run out of the corner, down the front straightaway. And Sanitas has got a good run. He's going to have the slipstream coming off of the back end of that Porsche. Look at the power of the Porsche. Rob's got his car trimmed out a little bit. He's able to gap the Ferrari. So different downforce settings. They're both in the grass. Don't follow him. And Sanitas to the inside. And he's going to make the pass. They're side by side now. Rob's going to take it back. Crossover move by Sanitas. And they make a little bit of contact. And Sanitas is going to make the pass. Rob falls back to 12th. The battle not over, though. Rob's going to try and get that back. Meanwhile, where is Sam? Sam's on the front straightaway. Oh, and it looks like Jeremy's lost some ground to Sam Brandt. Meanwhile, we'll pick up Logan. And he is still trying to get back to that 4th place battle. Meanwhile, Nick and Dion still battling it out. Not a lot different between these two drivers in these cars. Dion and Nick, they're both running very similar lap times. Nick not able really to close the gap. Dion not really able to extend the gap. Now Jensen Randall has started to close back in on Sandro Dulius for the 2nd spot. And that's not good for Sandro. Sandro trying to take the lead in this championship. And look how much Jensen closes up under braking, and Jensen almost blew that whole corner trying to catch up under braking. Oh no, and is this... Oh, that's Sanitas. Sanitas has had an issue. And he's having a hard time getting the car back going. And Sanitas has nosed it into the wall. I don't know if maybe there was contact with Rob Small. He was battling it out with Rob. He's now fallen back into the 13th spot. He had taken over Rob, and look, he's got front end damage. The bumper's hanging off. He's got one headlight working. And Sanitas, again, I don't know if he had an issue going into the corner, if he made contact with Rob. I know they two were battling it out. Meanwhile, we'll pick up, Jensen Randall in 3rd. And the fog is so bad at this point, we really have to use nothing but onboards in order to try and keep up with what's going on. It looks like Cameron may have had an issue as well, because now Cameron has lost a huge chunk of time to Sandro and Jensen. You can see Cameron out there in the foreground. 1.5 seconds back is Sandro, and he's bringing Jensen Randall with him. So a couple of incidents here in this last lap, and we're under 25 minutes to play here in round 4 of the Nürburgring Grand Prix layout here, the Intercontinental GT3 Challenge here in SRL. Project Cars 2 on the PS4 platform. Jensen Randall doing his best to try and stick with Sandro Dulius. Battle for the championship here. Actually a 3-way battle, because Cameron Weston Edwards is third in the points. And if he can stay where he's at, Sandro would take over the points lead. Jensen would be right behind him in points. And Cameron would close up the gap to the leaders. They would only be separated by a handful of points. But Cameron losing a huge chunk of time now. He's under a second to Sandro. These guys are coming. We're going to lock on to Sandro real quick. And nobody has yet to make a pit stop. It was an hour sprint race. I'm not 100% sure. If you started with enough fuel, you might be able to run the whole race without having to make a pit stop. Randall gets a good run coming out of that corner. And actually, we do have Max Mulder making a pit stop. I don't know if that's for damage, but he's running in the 12th position. We're not going to leave the battle for the lead here. Oh, and Jensen, you see Sandro running a really tight line through there. Can any time be gained here through the Schumacher S's? Sandro drops the right side tires into the gravel just a little bit. Jensen's got a good run coming into the next corner. They're side by side. And Jensen Randall takes the second spot away from Sandro. Sandro had nothing for him. And now Jensen sets his sights back on the lead of this race for Cameron Weston Edwards. Edwards able to gap just over a second to that battle for second now. Meanwhile, 10 seconds back, you have Dion Stahl with Nick Van Gelder still all over the back of him. Again, nothing to split between these two drivers. Whoa, but Nick, last of the late breakers, diving into that corner, almost rear ends Dion Stahl. Let's see if Nick can get any of the slipstream here. And 4 seconds back from this battle would be Logan or Ron trying to close in on them still. Oh, and a big twitch there by Nick Van Gelder. Almost lost the back end of that car. Took that corner a little too tight. And Logan is coming. Logan's got this gap down to 3.5 seconds. So he's coming for that 5th spot for Nick. Nick had that twitch at turn 1, and it cost him a chunk of time to Dion Stahl and Logan Arond. Meanwhile, Jensen Randall still trying to close this gap to Cameron Weston Edwards. Working lap 20. There's 20 minutes left to play in the session. That's roughly 10 laps left of racing. Depending on lap time, somewhere between, we're going to say 11 and 12 laps to go in this race. And Sandro has lost touch with Jensen Randall, unfortunately. Jensen, though, closing in on Cameron Weston Edwards. And I know Cameron's heart is in Formula One, but I really think that in GT3 is where his driving abilities will shine, because without the aids of an ERS system or the DRS system, some of these drivers are going to find out how hard it is really to get around Cameron Weston Edwards and how aggressive he can be. We saw how he got past Sandro earlier in this race. We saw how he forced Jensen into a mistake. And if Jensen's hoping to do the same thing to Cameron, it's going to be a hard thing to do. But Jensen Randall is in striking distance of Cameron now, so the battle has heated up. A car length between them. And again, we have to use a lot of onboard shots. The fog is so bad here around the track right now that you can't see what's really going on if we use the trackside cameras. So right now we're using a lot of the onboards. This has really been some unbelievable racing between a lot of drivers. You see Cameron, a little bit of a twitch going into that corner. Through the Schumacher S's. Great run out of the Schumacher S's for Jensen. He's going to try and get to the inside. Oh, and Cameron's going to hang tough. Jensen's going to try and push him wide. Cameron's not going to deal with that. Cameron back to the inside. Oh, but Cameron can't get the power down. And Jensen Randall back out in the lead of this race. A small mistake at the Schumacher S's has cost Cameron Weston Edwards the lead of this race. Can Cameron get it back? You see Jensen now trying to break up the slipstream a little bit, snake his way down the front straightaway, break that slipstream up. Doesn't want to give Cameron any advantage. But it was in this position that Cameron was able to force Jensen into a mistake. And we'll see if he can do it again. And it looks like Max Mulder's making another pit stop from the 12th position. We've lost a driver. Somebody is... looks like that would have been Jim Sanitas, who's left the session, unfortunately. I didn't catch that when it happened. Jim he was running as high as 10th at one point in this race. Actually, he was running a little higher than that. He was actually going to try and be about for the 6th position, but lost the back end of the car in the turn 2 complex. So Cameron's still a part of this battle. Jensen running a little wide in that corner. You can hear Cameron's tires squealing as they try to bite. A little blip of the throttle trying to keep the car steady heading up to the Schumacher S's. And that's really where he's losing a little bit of time. He lost a little bit of time there. Last time, obviously, he got passed heading into this corner. This is such a tricky corner here, this right-hander. Oh, and look at this. Jensen Randall makes a mistake into the grass, and Cameron Weston Edwards retakes the lead of this race. So another mistake by Jensen cost him the lead of the race. So now 16 minutes left to play in the session. Jensen back in pursuit of Cameron Weston Edwards as they flip-flop once again. Meanwhile, Sandro Dulius is a part of this battle. It's a three-way battle for the race. I'm just now picking up on that timing and scoring. Surprised I didn't catch it sooner. So Sandro would love it for these guys to not necessarily take each other out, but a little bit of contact between those two could be real beneficial for Sandro right now. So three-way battle for the lead. Meanwhile, Nick Van Gelder is lost touch with Dion Stahl. But look who has caught Nick, and here is Logan Aron going for 5th place, trying to get a top 5 in his opening race with SRL. They're side by side. You can't really tell. We're going to try and use the trackside cameras. And there you see Logan Aron takes over Nick Van Gelder for the 5th spot. Meanwhile, we have to go back to the battle for the lead. Oh, and they're side by side again. Cameron Weston Edwards still on the inside. Crossover move by Jensen. He makes contact with Cameron. Meanwhile, Sandro's a part of this. And again, a good run through the Schumacher S's, and Cameron's not going to give him the room. Things are getting a little aggressive here at the front. Contact has been made a couple of times. Jensen back to the inside here at the right-hander. And this is where Jensen made his mistake. Tries to get the power down. He's all over the back of Cameron, and Sandro's watching all of this unfold in front of him. And look at this, Jensen going to try and bait him, swings to the inside. Oh no, and Cameron loses it under braking. Here comes Sandro. Cameron's going to cut the corner. And Jensen all over the back of him. Oh, and Jensen with a great run coming out of the corner, down the front straightaway. There's a little bit of contact, a shoulder nudge from Cameron. And Jensen nudges back, and now it's getting a little too aggressive. It's a little bit of argy-bargy between these two guys. Sandro probably having a small heart attack right now, and slams into the back of Cameron. So contact between all three of these drivers, and the rear bumper on Cameron's car is going to get worn out here from the contact between Jensen Randall, Sandro Julius, and I know Sandro didn't mean to do that. He was going in late and hard on the brakes. Cameron runs wide out of the corner. Cameron is going to want to get back to Jensen bad. Jensen Randall back out in front. And Nick Van Gelder has lost touch with Logan Aron for the 5th spot. Nick has lost a huge chunk of time, and Nick is starting to fall into the clutches of Rennie Vanderstapp. So Rennie starting to close in on 6th. Meanwhile, not much to report towards the back. Sam Brandt is still under a little bit of a threat from Jeremy Pope for the 8th position. Alexi's been running quietly in 10th. And Rob Small and Max Malder round out 11th and 12th. Jim Sanitas was our 13th driver for the race. He had had a couple of issues on track. And it looks like that damage on the front of Sandro's car may be costing him a little bit of time. He's lost a little bit of ground to Cameron Weston Edwards, and things have settled down. Cameron going to try and close in on Jensen Randall. Meanwhile, there is the battle for 4th is starting to heat up. Dion Stahl, who has been running... Now, we talked about how Sandro ran the most laps in 2nd place of anybody so far this race. Dion's run the most laps in 4th, battling it out with Nick for most of this race, and Jensen Randall for a little while. He's been a highest of 3rd spot. He's been running 4th most of this race. Epic the Animal, Logan Aron, is closing in on this battle for 4th. Meanwhile, we head back to the battle for... Cameron Weston Edwards trying to close that gap. He's 1.6 seconds back from Jensen Randall. Meanwhile, Sandro's lost touch with that battle just a little bit. He is running about 3 seconds back from that. Dion Stahl. Dion's not all by his lonesome just yet. Here comes Logan. Logan really pushing the Lamborghini here to its limits. Oh, and he had to just use a blip of the throttle. That's going to cost him a little bit of time through the Schumacher S's. But really, Logan has been driving the heck out of this car, trying to get back to this 4th position. Now, he was as high as 5th, 6th area. He wasn't a part of a 3-car battle for the 4th position with Nick Van Gelder and Dion Stahl many laps ago. Spun the car, dropped as far back to 9th. He's now worked his way back into 5th. Can he get that 4th position? And really, for the middle part of this race, Logan has been the fastest car on track. He put together a string of really fast laps to work his way back from 9th up into 5th. And now less than 10 minutes to go. Oh, and we've got a car. I'm going to assume that's maybe Max coming out of the pits. Yes, that was Max coming out of the pits once again. So Logan trying to close in on 4th. Rennie trying to close in on Nick. Nick has run wide coming out of the turn 1 complex. And now things with less than 9 minutes to go, it looks like things have actually started to settle out. A lot of the guys are separated from each other at this point. Jensen Randall is your leader. He is out in front to the tune of 2.5 seconds over Cameron Weston Edwards. Edwards is out in front of Sandro Dulius, who's running in 3rd, 6 seconds behind. The closest battle on track is between Dion Stahl and Logan Arand, and there you see how close Logan is to Dion. And there is a bit of a battle here. This is Jeremy Pope is closing in on Sam Brandt. This is the battle for 8th. And you see the fog has rolled in. The skies have gone dark. Nighttime rolling in. We'll see how bad. Yep, the fog is still really bad if we use the trackside camera, so we'll stick with the onboards. Luckily, because there's been so much action on track, the onboards have been a good place to be, trying to keep tabs on everything that's going on. And there you see Sam drops the right side tires into the gravel. Jeremy trying to close in on that. And right now, Sam Brandt is in the last points paying position. So, whoa, and a big twitch there by Jeremy as he runs through the kink. But the GT3 championship does not use the current Formula 1 points table. They use old school Formula 1. I guess it would be the generation prior to the 25 points table. They use 10 for first, 8 for second, 6 for third, and then 4, 3, 2, 1 all the way down to, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 all the way down to the 8th place. So right now, this is the battle for the last points paying position on track, and Jeremy Pope is all over the back of him. Jeremy not able to make much head ground. We're going to head back to Logan and Dion as they continue to battle it out. Logan's still trying to close in that gap. 6 minutes left to go in this race. And Dion really able to stretch the legs of that McLaren. Meanwhile, while we've been watching these two battles, Cameron Weston Edwards has started to close the gap back into Jensen Randall. That gap, which was over 2 seconds at one point, is now down to 1.3 seconds. So the battle for the lead is not over, and if Cameron's going to do anything, he's going to have to do it quick because we are counting down 5 minutes left to go in this race. And here we go. Logan all over the back of Dion now heading into turn 1. So 5 minutes to go. We've got a couple of battles on track. We've got a battle for the lead. We've got a battle for 4th, and we've got a battle for 8th. They're all points-paying battles. Here we go. We ride along with Logan, and that is a lap car in front of them. And here we go. Good run there from Logan. Can he get to the inside? No. Dion runs a nice tight line, pushes it a little wide. And up to the Schumacher S's. No, that's not where we're at. We are at the right-hander heading onto the back straightaway. And it looks like that is possibly a lap car. That might be Rennie Vanderstapp, or is that Max Mulder? Or this is the Schumacher S's. Where in the hell are we on track? That's the Schumacher S's. And that does look like that is Rennie van der Stapp in the Renault. And it would be nice and wise of him to get out of the way. So he pulls to the inside. And he's going to let this battle go through. Dion and Logan. Whoa! Was there contact there? Or Logan just a little twitchy? Meanwhile, Jeremy Pope still trying to find a way around Sam Brandt for this 8th place, and Sam's going to run wide at that corner. Jeremy tries to get the power back down. He runs wide as well, tries to cut to the inside. Sam's going to cut across the nose of the Porsche. And Jeremy, this is probably the closest Jeremy has been coming onto the front straightaway. Can he make a move down into turn 1? Some unbelievable racing on track today for sure. And Jeremy's got the run, he's got the slipstream. He doesn't look like he's going to be close enough to make a move. He thought about it. Oh, but Sam with a big twitch at the back end. Trying to get that power back down. Meanwhile, Logan, this is the closest Logan has been. And again, nice and tight. Dion keeping that car, but Logan trying to get that power down. Meanwhile, battle for the lead. 0.7 of a second, but I don't know what the red mark means next to their number. Does that mean he's got a penalty? Or does he have damage? I don't know. I thought if there was a penalty, it would show up next to the names like it does on Formula 1. Oh well. Anyways, 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning. Essentially, this I don't know how this works. This could be the last lap of this race. There's 1:36 left to go when they come across the line. I don't know if they do it like IMSA and when time runs out, they do one more lap, or when time runs out, this is it. Because there's not enough time to start another hot lap. Jensen runs wide going into turn 1. Cameron trying to get that power down. And Cameron is going to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at Jensen Randall for the lead of this race. You can hear Cameron's tires screaming at him, trying to get that power down. We've got a battle for the lead. We've got a battle for 4th. We've got a battle for 8th. Cameron looks to the inside. Meanwhile, Sandro's lost pace with these guys. The tires have worn out on Sandro's car, trying to keep up with them. Oh, and Jensen runs into the grass. Feeling the pressure from Cameron Russ and Edwards. Cameron looking to the inside. And again, Jensen running a little bit wide through the corner. You see all the gravel on the track. Somebody's been off there a couple of times. Good run coming out of the corner up to the Schumacher S's. And it looks like Cameron's going to take the lead. And did Jensen let him go? Does he know Jensen has, or does he know Cameron's got a penalty? Does he know something I don't know? I don't know. I can't get clarification from anybody. Doesn't look like anybody's really watching the live stream right this second. Jensen Randall back to the inside, swing to the outside. Crossover move, comes out of the corner, gets the power down. Great move through the chicane by Jensen Randall. The time is up. Cameron to the inside. Cameron can't get the power down. Jensen, it's a drag race down the front straightaway. Who's going to come across the line? And I guess that's it. I guess that's done it. Here comes Logan. Logan has managed to get out in front of Dion Stahl. That is for 4th. And Jeremy Pope gets by Sam Brandt, but this battle's not over. I don't think I've gotten an official word yet. This battle's over. These guys, yeah, they're done. Sam trying to get that one last point back, and it looks like time is up. The race is over. Haven't gotten it on the official timing and scoring in game. And a great run to the line by Jeremy Pope. We'll pick up Alexei. And I don't know at this point. You can see the running orders all jumbled up. Oh, and apparently that's the end of the race. So let's get our unofficial results. An amazing battle all the way down to the final corner of this race. I think Jensen Randall got it. And oh, we don't know who finished where. What? Well, that's... I hope one of the drivers got the official results, because I don't know who finished where. Crap, that is not a good way to end a stream. The game did not give it to me. So, for what it's worth, the battles that we were watching, I think Jensen Randall got the win coming out of the last corner. Epic the Animal, Logan Aron did get past Dion Stahl for 4th. So, it should have been Jensen, Cameron, Sandro, Logan, Dion as your top 5. Nick, I believe, was 6th. Rennie Vanderstapp, I think, was 7th. And Sam Brandt and Jeremy Pope. It was Pope that had 8th coming across the line. So Jeremy Pope should have picked up the last points paying position. Sam Brandt. And I do have Sam with me in the chat. Sam, did you get a finishing result?
I did not, but I can confirm that Cameron did.
Okay, so Jensen won the race?
Yes, he did.
Okay, so it should have been Jensen, Cameron, Sandro, Logan, Dion, Nick, Rennie.
And myself.
You? Or did Jeremy beat you to the line?
Jeremy did overtake me, but he was less than 1 second in front of me, and he did have 1 second time penalty. Okay, so you do get the last points paying position. That would be Jeremy. And then Alexei finishes 10th, and Rob and Max finish out the 12 drivers. Jim Sanitas will be credited with 13th, even though he left halfway through the race. Man, that was crazy. So... yeah, that was round 4 of the GT3 Championship, a sprint race for SRL. And unfortunately, I didn't get any unofficial results. But Sam, I mean, since you're here, great race that you had with Jeremy, but not the race you were looking for, I'm sure. I thought you would have been a bit more contender for this race. Yeah, but like I haven't done a lot of practice over the last couple of days or the last couple of weeks, so I was not expecting to be like running at the front like I was at Imola, but I was certainly expecting to be fighting over more points than just a single one. That's for sure.
And what was it like with the weather? I know the fog had rolled in. I mean, it did from the trackside cameras, it looked horrible. We had to use mostly onboard views for the majority of the race. But what was it like in the driver's seat? Was the fog, did that dampen the race for you at all?
Well, it does a little bit, especially if you're closing up to someone you're trying to lap, or if there's an incident. I did have at one point where I think I was lapping Max at one point, and for some reason, I think he busted his rear lights, meaning I could not see him before I was like literally alongside him. So that it is kind of scary sometimes, but towards the end it didn't really matter that much because obviously the dark kicked in and the sunset. But especially during sunset, some of the corners you got blinded, you couldn't see anything.
Well, congratulations on picking up your 1 point. That's the best I've done so far this year in my 2 races. So, But we're racing a GT3 again next week, are we not?
We are, and well, just like Formula 1 this weekend in real life, we're going to Portimao in Portugal. So, yeah.
Portimao in Portugal, and that's going to be an hour-and-a-half race.
Yes, it is.
And is that going to be run same time? Or is it going to be back to the normal time?
We don't know yet. We think it's going to run back to the same, like the old times, but yeah, we'll see, I guess.
Well, good enough. Great racing today. No major incidences on track. Everybody should definitely like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Check out the stream. Go back and watch this amazing racing all around the track. The battle for first, the battle for fourth and sixth, and Sam trying to hold off Jeremy at the end, the battle for eighth. So good racing all around, and we'll see everybody again next week at Portugal.